Hey there and welcome back to Rimworld. My name is Pete and today we complete episode 40 of our Extreme Desert Challenge and we pick things back up right where we left off last time with the dawn of a new day and a decent chunk of our base still under construction. As you can see though, our workshop is slowly taking shape, most of the flooring is already in and we have also moved over a few workstations as well. We are also fast approaching our deadline to make a decision on the damaged shuttle quest, and once again your feedback in the comments of the last video was mostly in favor of taking this quest, so that is what we're going to do. In terms of rewards, we are going for the honor, as 6 additional points are exactly what Steg needs to advance to the next royal rank, provided of course that we're able to complete the quest. The shuttle then immediately crash lands with its commander and 4 Imperial soldiers, and unfortunately all of them will remain near the crash site. So in order to defend them, we have to get over there and quickly, but safety first, this quest is not worth risking the lives of our colonists over, so let's get everyone into combat gear. At the crash site, we are then building a small enclosure around the shuttle, hoping that perhaps the commander will go in here and we can sort of lock them in to keep them safe. If I remember correctly, this worked very well last time, but of course success is far from guaranteed. Our odds would probably be better if we were to build a larger enclosure, but that will take more time, and time is something that we cannot really afford right now. Case in point, just as we finish construction, our enemies arrive, 13 of them and moderately well armed, especially those guys with the grenades could become a problem. We do have the advantage of some solid cover though, at least for those fighters that we actively control. The Imperial forces seem to be a little more reckless, but then again they are arguably also the most well-equipped participants in this fight. Now, like I said, our main focus here is to take out the grenadiers first, and that actually works pretty well. Following that, we can mow down our attackers with relative ease, as they are far from heavily armored. Still, they are armed though, and so it should not come as a surprise that everyone involved in this fight is taking some damage. However, thanks to our recently acquired suits of marine armor, most of the injuries here should remain superficial. In the end, the attack is quickly driven back and the quest more or less completed. The Imperial commander did take some damage, but they are still moving around, so it can't be that bad. To properly complete the quest, we now have to wait until the shuttle arrives that will pick up the commander and what remains of their guards, and while we do that, we can already deconstruct our defensive structure again and haul some of the loot from the fight back to the steakhouse. And with one quest almost finished, we can quickly talk about another one. This offer to have all males of the colony psychically suppressed is one that we are going to decline. I simply don't think that the rewards here are all that great, and this could reduce productivity quite severely, not to mention our ability to defend the colony. A few moments later then, the shuttle finally arrives, the commander and 2 of their soldiers quickly get inside, but the shuttle doesn't leave, because one of the soldiers here is in a somewhat inconvenient state between life and death. So let's take care of moving our ally in the right direction by having Red Hawk run over to administer some first aid, and as you can see, Red Hawk is quite good at what she does. A few seconds later, our patient can already walk again, but of course we won't pass up this chance for a bit more medical experience, so they get the full package, meal included, before they finally get into the shuttle. And that completes the quest and gives Steg enough honor to move up to the rank of Praetor. His throne room now once again needs a few slight upgrades, but nothing that we couldn't handle, so I would say let's add that to our list of changes that still need to be made around the base, but for now let's send everyone off to bed and skip ahead to the next morning. On that next morning, by the way, everyone apart from Pollyanna is already fully healed again, and thanks to the expert care of Red Hawk, even Pollyanna should be back up on her feet in no time. A few hours later then, Steak and Alistair put down the final marble tiles in the workshop, and so we can now begin furnishing the place. Eventually, we will have our tailoring bench, drug lab, machining table, fabrication bench, stonecutter's table, art bench and smelter in here, all of them equipped with comfortable armchairs, all of them benefiting from 2 tool cabinets, and of course, the stockpiles in the storage room are also placed in such a way that the materials needed the most are easily reachable. The leathers and furs on the right side here, close to the tailoring bench, are a good example. To spice up the day a bit, we also have a load of drop pods crashed down in the desert. Inside we find 178 units of duck meat that will very likely be processed into kibble at some point, so let's get them back to our freezers as quickly as possible. As the evening then rolls around, Steak, Jake and Pollyanna finish work inside of the storage room, and with that, our base expansion project is finally complete. The workshop is also fully functional now, with stockpiles for stone chunks and building materials right outside, but like I said last time, there is room to construct a second storage room over there, so sooner or later we will likely do that. For now, it is time to actually put our new workshop to good use, as we will now have Edmo manufacture not 1 but 2 bionic legs. At a cost of 15 plasteel and 4 advanced components, they are not really all that expensive, at least if we consider that we currently have a good amount of components, but as you can see, they require some time to be made. Still, all of that will be more than worth it, because these things are better than regular legs in every single way. If you are wondering who we are making them for, then, well, I'll let you wonder for a few more minutes, as we now jump over to Pollyanna. She is currently putting down some extra pillars in the common room, because I have decided that it would make some sense to move our throne room over here. At the moment, that throne room is somewhat separated from the rest of the colony, while our common room is without a doubt the more pleasant place to be, so I think that unifying all of these purposes in one room does have its advantages. With a rating of very impressive, our throne room is now much better than before, and Steak can finally rule over his subjects in a place that they actually visit. Speaking of Steak and his royal needs, up next we are slightly extending Steak's and Red Hawk's bedroom, unfortunately at the cost of some space for their neighbor Jake, but eventually we want to have a bedroom with a size of 30 tiles to meet the requirements of some of the higher royal ranks. While that is going on, Edmo finishes the first bionic leg and can now quickly chop some stone chunks for the bedroom project, before he then starts working on number 2. In the evening then, we are bringing home another haygrass harvest, and we can see that Troy has not only taken over cooking duties, but is also familiarizing himself with the butcher table, where he is currently making kibble. A few hours later, we are also getting another visit from the royal tribute collector, but in the absence of prisoners or gold that we want to part with, they are most likely going to leave empty-handed, as usual. Using some of our components, we can now also have Pollyanna construct a vitals monitor in our hospital. Only one for now though, as multiple beds can connect to it, and the connection can go diagonally, so both of our beds will benefit from one device's bonuses. Those bonuses are slight improvements to immunity gain speed, to medical tending quality, and most importantly to surgery success chance, which will hopefully come in handy in just a bit. For the time being, however, we can give Troy a new research project now, and perhaps somewhat unusually, he will look into tube television. As most of you have probably experienced over the last year or so, TVs are a great way to satisfy that need for recreation, and their strategic placement, for example inside of a hospital, could allow our colonists to gain those benefits even while they're bedridden. For that very same reason, they are also quite useful in prisons. However, that is an aspect of the colony that we have currently not focused too much on, but who knows which way the steakhouse is going to develop in the future. Now, since we have a few extra units of steel lying around, let us construct a few more hydroponics basins as well now, but this time we are using them to grow cotton. I think we have reached the point where the all-natural cotton farm to the north of the base can be replaced by something more efficient, and we can even use that space to grow even more cacti for wood, so now that we have the resources to spare, I think this makes a lot of sense. It is at this point in time that Edmo also finishes his work on the second bionic leg, and he can actually now haul both of them into the hospital already. We also still have that bionic heart we acquired in the last episode, and today we are putting all three of these parts to good use, and of course you probably guessed it already, the recipient will be none other than good old Edmo himself. So, bedded down in our hospital bed, connected to a vitals monitor, Edmo can now give himself over to the care of Dr. Redhawk, who is still our most proficient medical expert, even though Pollyanna is catching up quickly. For a task like this, though, we definitely want to minimize our chances of anything going wrong, so let's see how this goes. And there we are, the first leg has been installed, no issues so far, but we have a second one coming up. This one actually replaces the prosthetic leg that we installed not too long ago, so we can reclaim that and perhaps use it on someone else or sell it to a trader. The procedure for leg number 2 then also goes by without issue, so once the anesthetic wears off, Edmo will be running around fast as lightning, but he is not done just yet. The bionic heart will now also go inside of him. The benefits will likely be a lot less noticeable, but if Edmo is eventually going to become our Superman, we might as well go all in. And going all in, that is what the heart does as well, once again without complications, so a new and very much improved version of Edmo will wake up from his slumber in a few hours. Until then, we can watch another night pass by and skip ahead to the next morning, where we can watch the man himself already busy at work again. Being our best crafter, Edmo now has the honor of tailoring some exquisite thrumbofur gear for our colony ruler Steak, to be more precise, a formal shirt, a duster and some pants. With thrumbofur being one of the best clothing materials in the game, all of these garments will offer superior protection against enemy attacks, to a point where, in combination with a flak vest, a thrumbofur duster can compete with the protection of a suit of marine armor. On top of that, having Steak dressed entirely in white certainly adds a certain element to his presence, and we'll get to that in just a moment. For now, we can continue improving our old storage room with a few more wooden shelves, on which we eventually place the plethora of packaged survival meals that we have lying around. They don't need to be cooled and never go bad, so this is a good place for them, I think. With a nice bit of rainfall setting in, we can then also make more kibble, and in the meantime, Edmo finishes the duster for Steak. And a look at the stats here already shows it. This thing offers quite a bit of protection, of course not as much as a proper suit of armor, but keep in mind that unlike armor, it can be combined with t-shirts and flak vests, so in the end, the results are often fairly similar. And with Steak then eventually decked out all in thrumbofur, I think it is now time for another ceremony. Just a few days ago, Steak earned the rank of Praetor, and we have now built him a proper throne room to meet the demands of that rank, so let us invite our friends from the Empire to officially grant him that new title. As you can see, the shuttle lands immediately, and I think for this one we can once again sit back and watch. And there we go, Steak is now officially a Praetor of the Empire, but to be honest, in terms of privileges and requirements, not a whole lot has changed. We have gained another permit point, but I think we'll once again save that, and other than that, things will remain more or less as they were before. One cool thing that we now have access to is the throne speech, however, during which Steak can speak to the rest of the colony and, depending on his social skills and a bit of luck, inspire them and raise their mood, or achieve the total opposite. The exact percentages are listed here, and we actually have a solid chance of ending up with a positive result, so let's spend the rest of the evening with a speech that all of Steak's loyal subjects listen to with great attention. And yes, it took a while, but eventually the speech comes to an end, and a good one at that, as everyone leaves the throne room inspired and a little happier than before. And I think with those inspiring words from our great leader, we have reached a very good point to make the cut in today's episode. So as we watch the steakhouse head off to bed, let's wrap things up right here. As always, if you enjoyed the video, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up, and if you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.